Personal log, celestial date 218.239.22. I got into a battle with two of the apparently three raiders who were on this derelict space station called Wellspring. One of them I had to kill, unfortunately. I had no choice. The other one I've left tied up in the containment unit with the fossils. And I don't know where the third one is. Last I heard, he was in life support. But now I'm standing on the threshold of the operating room in the med bay, and I'm looking Mainframe in the eye, and he seems to be sick and possibly contagious. Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is Starforged Alpha Cluster. We are with Krista Sutton, our main character, and in the previous session, most of that session was a battle where Krista was trying to stop them from hitting their communicators and alerting their partner that she was there, and she successfully managed to do that after a lot of combat and a lot of moves. So I want to address one mistake that I've been making because of Ironsworn and not getting that this is different. In Ironsworn, the battle progress track is supposed to be set by the danger level of your foe, right? The how dangerous your foe is. So the foes we've been fighting are the Shattered Federation raiders, who are under ordinary circumstances. They're let me clear this progress track now. They're dangerous. They're based on scrap bandits who are dangerous foes, and um, and unfortunately, that's going to clear everything. Unfortunately, what I didn't realize is that you don't do it that way in Starforged. What you're supposed to do is ask yourself, how dangerous is the battle, or how difficult is the goal, right? Like, it might be that these guys are very powerful, but if she can shoot out the one and only communicator that they have and blow it up, then that's her goal, and she's done with it. Now, she didn't know how many communicators they had on them, and it turned into a regular fight, and that's not really a problem for this particular battle. And I think it was reasonable to call it a formidable fight. Actually, Sean says that the default to him should be formidable. I probably will default to dangerous with this character, just because I think formidable battles take too long, and also because she's not very experienced yet. And it's sort of like, in Dungeons and Dragons, yes, you can put a third level character up against an ancient red dragon, but it's just going to die, right? There's no point. And so you have the third level character fight bugbears. And so I think that what I'll probably do is default to setting the difficulty at approximately the difficulty level of the foe if it's a straight combat where the goal is to have a battle. But for example, if we look back at the Magma Cyclops, right, which I said was a dangerous foe, and we should clear that progress track too. Twice I was dealing with the Magma Cyclops to try and avoid killing it or harming it and just get away from it or frighten it or whatever. And so even though the Magma Cyclops is a dangerous foe, the goal of just like getting past it might have been troublesome, right? And you could do it in a couple of progress and you're done. And I think one of the struggles I had with that fight both times was finding enough ways for Krista to do enough things to it to gain enough progress to just get away from it. And although that might narratively make sense under some circumstances, it probably doesn't make sense under all circumstances. And I don't think it made sense, especially in the first fight with the Magma Cyclops, where Krista got it, like backed away from it, it went into its nest, and then she just ran away. And if you'll notice, what did I do? We had like 2 or 3 progress, and I ended that fight, right? Maybe at 4 progress, right? 2 progress marks would be 2 times 2. Well, that would be 6 progress under a troublesome foe, and maybe I would have done something to get it to 9 and then made a progress move. And instead, I just said, okay, as a GM, I'm just going to end the fight, right? I rolled to see if the Magma Cyclops pursued. It was, 50-50 or something. It didn't, and I said, okay, I'm just going to delete it. Well, I mean, if you're going to do that, you may as well just say it's a troublesome fight and just do the 2 or 3 successful moves you need to get through it. So I'm just going to try to keep that in mind as we go. Don't know if we're going to get into combat this particular session. Hopefully not, because Chris is already a little bit beaten up. She's not in too bad shape, though. If we take a look, she has 5 momentum, 4 health, 4 spirit, 5 supply, and She needs to get the base location from mainframe. We have now found mainframe, so what she has to do is convince him to tell her where the raiders are. But before we do that, or as part of that, we have this problem that mainframe has told us that he's sick. So one of the things we need to do now with mainframe is we need to do a first look. I don't know if we're going to roll his goal yet, but we need to do a first look at this character. So let's see when she looks at him, what does she see in mainframe? What does he look like? What is the first kind of appearance that she has? So let's do a first look times 2, and we'll get 2 first looks at mainframe. So she sees that he is ill-equipped and attractive. Okay, so he's handsome, but he is ill-equipped. We've had that before, haven't we? I think. All right, so I think. Remember, we saw smoke in the corridors and stuff. I think he had a shootout with the bad guys, and his gun is empty. He doesn't have any ammo. So his gun is out of ammo, and maybe it's jammed or like burned out, whatever you want to call it, sort of like overheated. That's the word. So it's overheated, and he doesn't have a lot of equipment on him. Maybe he's been here a while. Maybe he just got here, and he was looking for stuff, and there's not anything here. Because remember, he's a scavenger, so I think that's probably true. And remember, he's got like, what should we call it? Some kind of pox on his face. What kind of creatures are there? Let's see. Foes. Hang on, let me just find the list of foes, and oh wait, I know where it is. It's in the compendium. Right, so Ironsworn foes, not Ironsworn, Starforged foes. So he's got what do we want to call it? He's got void. All right, he's got void pox. Right, so we're going to mention here in the notes that he has void pox, a virulent and contagious disease. So he says, I have void pox, don't come any closer. And so Chris is at the door, and she says, oh my gosh, you have void pox? That's highly contagious. And he says, yeah. She said, where did you pick it up? So where did he pick it up? Did he pick it up from the Raiders? Is it going through the Shattered Federation right now? I don't know. Let's roll action and theme. Where did he pick it up? How did he get this thing? Seize Alliance. Okay. So yeah, I think he's going to say, I picked it up on a base owned by the Shattered Federation. It's running rampant there, and I didn't realize it, and I was sort of stowing away, and I caught it there. He starts coughing and spitting up some blood, and he says, you don't want to get any closer. And Krista says, well, you don't understand. I need information from you. And he says, I can't help you. I came into this medbay looking for something to maybe treat this thing. I thought they possibly had an antidote, but I can't go any further. And he kind of lays back down on the operating table and kind of is breathing very hard. And Krista says, well, I can look around here and see if there's any, what would it be? Antibiotics that will take care of the void pox. And he says, oh yeah, but even if you find it, you can't bring it to me. If you come any closer, you might catch it. And Krista says, well, maybe we can solve that. And she looks back at Iris, right? Because Iris can't catch any sort of pox. So I think Chris is going to, we're in this, we're in the medical module, right? And this is an operating room, but there have to be other rooms, right? You don't just have an operating room. So what she's going to do is she's going to look around and see in the adjacent rooms if she can find any leftover medical supplies. So I think we're going to do a couple of things here. I think first we're going to see what's the next the room nearby. So we're look at the next nearest room, right? So we're not undertaking an expedition here. She's just looking around in the next nearest room to see if she can to see what's there, like what's the next area. And what she finds is a access to a new zone. All right. So what she finds nearby is an access to a new zone. She's going to discard that. I'm not even going to roll that up. She's looking in the medical area. What she finds then is a ward or a clinic. Okay, so she walks into the recovery room, right? She walks into the recovery ward. Is that a separate? Yeah, they don't have that. Okay, so she walks into the recovery ward over here. And maybe they have some supplies here. So she walks into the recovery ward. She's going to take her robot with her. And she kind of leaves the door open to the operating room. And she's keeping her ear open for this other raider. And I think that if we get like a pay the price, it's probably going to be she's going to get jumped by the raider. Or at least he's going to show up. So that's going to be my guess. So she's going to examine around here and look and see if she can find anything. So now she is a scavenger. She's gathering information, right? So she might find something of value. So she's scavenging, and she's looking to see if she can find. She's looking to see if she can find the medical supplies that she needs, right? Should we do that, or should we check gear? That's if she has it. Okay, so I think she's going to scavenge. I think we're going to gather information. And she's doing wits. We don't get any bonus from the bot because she's not undertaking an expedition here. She's just looking around to see if she can find a useful item. And we get a miss. Pay the price. Okay, so she's in there looking for the medical supplies that she's going to need. She's looking for antibiotics, right? So she's opening up cabinets, and she's finding that they're empty, right? She sees some empty syringes and some, the spray hypos, but there's no bottles attached. She goes into the incubator, not the incubators, but like the refrigerators. Well, they're all shut off because it's only on life support, and everything in there is spoiled, and so she's not finding anything that she needs, right? So we're going to pay the price. Now, one of the things with gather information, right, if you read this carefully, it unearths a dire threat or reveals an unwelcome truth that undermines your quest, right? I think the obvious thing here is all of the refrigeration units, the temperature, the things that maintain temperature, because a lot of antibiotics and vaccines and other medicine has to be kept at certain temperature. I have eye drops. It says you got to keep them between like 60 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit, right? We all know the COVID vaccine, some of them had to be kept at very cold temperatures. So none of these are working. So she might actually find them, but none of them are they're all expired, right? Because they're sitting in an unpowered refrigeration unit. But I think that while she's doing this, the most likely price to pay is that the third raider shows up. A new enemy is revealed, and I think that's the most likely. Alternatively, face the consequences of an earlier choice. Maybe the other raider has gotten free. So I think those are the two, and I think we're going to rate the third raider who hasn't been hurt yet as likely. I think he's going to come up behind her. He's looking around. He knows his boys are in here. He's coming from over here, maybe. And he's going to look for them because they're not answering on the comm, right? Is it him? Yes. So he comes in, and I think he's going to sneak up behind Krista. And he's going to, I don't know, is he going to shoot at her? Or is he going to talk to her? Let's take a look at their behavior, right? Target isolated planetside settlements, suppress resistance. If things go wrong, get the heck out. Cobble together weapons and armor. So I'm not sure here. Let's roll the combat action oracle and see what he's going to do. I think that makes the most sense. And this says create a distraction. Okay. So I think he's going to do something to distract her. I think, can he cut the power maybe? Create a distraction. Let me think about what he's going to do to distract her. Hold on here. I'll pause and bring you back. Okay, I think what he's going to do is he's going to set off like the emergency alarm system. Right? I think he's in life support. I think he's going to, should he turn off life support? Well, he didn't know she was there when he was in life support. I think he's going to pull the like the emergency alarm, like pulling the fire alarm. And all of a sudden, the alerts go off, and Chris says, "What the heck is that?" And then he's going to attack. So I guess we're going to get into combat again. So we're going to enter the fray, and I just talked about goals. Unfortunately, I think her goal here is going to be to defeat this guy, right? Because he's attacking her with surprise, and she wants to get drugs, but she can't get drugs by shooting at him. So I'm not sure what else to do here, and I think despite my recent diatribe about goals, I think her goal is going to be to take this guy out. I don't think there's any other goal, and his goal is probably to take her out. So we're going to enter the fray. And we were caught in a trap, so this is plus wits. So Krista says, "What the heck is that?" And we roll wits for her, and we get a strong hit. We get 2 momentum, and she's in control. Okay, so she hears the alarm go off. So what happens is he goes to grab the alarm, right? And Iris sees him and starts beeping. And Krista turns and pulls her gun, and then he pulls the alarm, and but Krista's already got her gun out. And so what's she going to do? I think she's going to shoot at him. Oh, so this is so does she know his call sign? I think she does. Right, let me check that. All right, so she knows this guy. Let's put him here. She knows this guy's name is Deuce. So what's she going to do to him? Is she going to try to like intimidate him or whatever, or confuse him? Yeah, I think she's going to gain some leverage. She's got her gun on him, and she's going to say, "Deuce, is it?" And he says, stops and says, "How the hell do you know my name?" And she says, "Wrecker told me." And she like holds her gun on him, and she says, "I've already defeated your other 2 friends. Do you want the same as I gave them?" And I guess she's making a threat. Unfortunately, this is iron, right? I think she's making a threat. So unfortunately, she's going to roll iron here. But I think that's just what you have to do. We got to roll the stats you got to roll. Right? And we get a miss. We could burn momentum to a weak hit. I think we're not going to waste momentum on this because weak hit on gain ground isn't that great. Well, yeah. I mean, we could gain the momentum back. I think, yeah. I think, so he's not intimidated by this. and he goes to pull his gun, and she fires at him. Right now, she doesn't hit him, but it makes him back up, and we're going to burn momentum, and then we're going to take 2 momentum back. Now, it sounds sort of wasteful, but that keeps us in control, so that she can decide what to do next. So, so now what's going to happen is she is going to, so he is going to try to duck behind there's a gurney, right? And he's going to try to dive behind it to get a little bit of cover, and she's going to try to stop him from doing that. So she's going to fire, and she actually just fires twice, bang, bang, to see if she can, so like sort of where he's going to and then where he's coming from, so that if he doubles back, one of her shots will hit. So she fires in it's sort of a spray. And this is going to be strike, and this is with edge. And we get a miss. So she fires twice, but she does not hit him, and we have to pay the price. So let me look at the pay the price, and I'll figure out what the price is here. All right, I think that a friend or a companion, in this case Iris, is put in harm's way. So the next thing that happens is going to happen to Iris. So, so Krista, as she maneuvers, right, to try and shoot him, kind of Iris was behind her, and now Iris is exposed, and he sees Iris. So now what's he going to do? He is going to overrun a position. So he is going to run forward. So he jumps over the gurney, runs forward toward them, and as he does, he starts shooting, but instead of at Krista, he shoots at the robot. So now what's Krista going to do? Krista sees him coming, and she sees him going after the robot. So she's going to jump up, grab like just one of these little prongs here on the back of Iris, and pull her down out of the way. So this is reacting under fire. Oh, wait, by the way, guys, we need to set a progress bar. So let's do that. This is a dangerous foe, and I think it's reasonable, and that'll be our progress bar, and this is going to be the battle versus the third raider. And so anyway, she's going to react under fire and try to pull her robot out of the way. So I think this is getting back into position, dodging. She's helping her robot dodge. So this is edge. And we get a miss. And so I think that means that Iris is hit. And so we go into the assets, and Iris is down to 1 health. Now, companion takes a hit if their health is 0, or if you choose to test their resilience, you can roll their plus health. I don't want to risk that, because then that could drop Iris down to 0. So Iris gets hit, and Krista says, "Iris, get out of the way," and orders Iris to get out of the way. And meanwhile, she's going to turn around and shoot it, and she's going to back up and shoot at this guy. So we're still in a bad spot. We've gotten 0 progress in this battle in, 4 or 5 moves. And she's going to clash. So she's going to shoot at him. And so she fires again. And we get a weak hit. So we mark progress, but our delta counterblow. So she shoots at him, and he's going to, I guess, shoot back at her. Well, let's see what he does. So we're in a bad spot. We mark progress. And we have to pay the price. So let me take a look at what we can do here. I think the most likely thing is he shoots at her now, right? He distracted her by shooting at her robot, and when she jumped out to pull at her robot and missed, she backed away, and he's going to fire at her. So now we have to endure harm. And we get a strong hit. So she shakes it off. So he fires at her, but it mostly hits her in the jacket. Her jacket's all in tatters now. She's going to have to buy a new one. And she manages to avoid the worst of it. So now she's going to... so what's she going to do? She was in the medical room. She was in the recovery ward, but she's been sort of forced out of there. So now let me think about what she could do against this guy. Okay, so actually I'm wrong. We have to, the way I do it, we have to see what his combat action is first, and she's going to respond to it. So now he's going to perform a feint or a trick. So he looks behind her and says, "Wrecker," and points. So is she going to be tricked by this and turn around and be distracted? "Wrecker, give me a hand here." And he points behind her, right, to try and make her look back. So I think this is reacting under fire, and this is going to be with wits, I think, right? Is she smart enough? She's not moving into hiding. She's not blocking. She's not remaining stalwart against fear. She's not pursuing, dodging. I think this is wits. Is she smart enough to figure this out? And we get a strong hit. So we gain a momentum. So she doesn't even look back. She says, "I already know he's tied and locked up. There's no way he's back here." And now she's in control. So she's going to again do the thing where she has Iris. She says, "Iris," I can't remember what I used last time as the expression, but Iris, flashlight, whatever her code word is to Iris, to have Iris turn on all of her lights and turn on all of her noise to try and distract this guy. So this is gaining ground. And I think I actually made a mistake with this before. I rolled wits because it's clever or coordinating a plan, but I think really this is misdirection. So I think we have to roll shadow here. And we get a weak hit. We stay in control, and we can either mark progress or gain momentum. So let's mark progress. So we have 4 progress now. So he gets, it definitely like blinds him a little bit, and he puts his hand up to protect himself, and he kind of staggers back, and he ends up like trying to get back behind the gurney, but he doesn't quite get in the right position, and now she's going to fire at him because he's exposed. And we're using edge, and we get a strong hit. We mark progress twice. Boom, boom. So she fires at him, bang, and hits him right in the, I don't know where, arm? No, we've done that before. She hits him in the leg, and he staggers. And she comes out from behind cover. She's got him. He's sort of staggered down, and we're going to do our progress move, right? We're going to take decisive action, right? We're seizing the objective in a fight. And she says, "All right, drop your gun, or I drop you." So what do we get? We get a weak hit. So we achieve our objective, but not without cost. So I think we can actually do this now. Roll that. And I think this is what, let's check at the 79. Yep. Others won't forget. You are marked for vengeance. All right. So what happens is he says, okay, I give up. And then as she comes up to him, he pulls out his knife, and she goes bang and shoots him right in the head and kills him. And so now what's going to happen is when the Shattered Federation finds out, when Wrecker returns to the Shattered Federation to tell them, they're going to want to gain revenge on her. So she's now enemies with the Shattered Federation, which is bad because they are everywhere, and she's got to go up against them to get this relic, to get the freaking bond from a 9 progress connection. Did not expect it to be that hard of a mission. I really didn't. All right, so we've killed this last raider, and I think this marks progress because the raiders are no longer a threat to mainframe. So Krista gets an idea. She says, "Iris, stay here." And she goes back to the operating room, and she puts Iris in the doorway, and he's still like laying on the operating table looking very sick, and she says, "Mainframe, I'm going to be right back." And what she's going to do is she's going to head back to her ship, all the way back to her ship. So we're going to set a course. She's going to head all the way back to her ship with the intention of getting her environmental suit and coming all the way back. I'm just going to do this once rather than rolling it twice in a row. And so she's going to get her environmental suit and come back. And the thing is, with the environmental suit on, he can't make her sick, right? So she's going back to her ship, and we're going to set a course. And she's not using her companion because she's left the companion back here to kind of watch over him. She checks the guy in the containment. Is he still trapped? I think almost certainly. But let's see. There's a chance he might have gotten out. Almost certain. Yep, he's still trapped there. So she's got 2 dead raiders and 1 member of the Shattered Federation who's tied up and still sealed. When he sees her looking in the window, he starts, get me out of here, right? So now she's going to head back, and she's going to set a course, right? And when we do that, we roll plus supply, which is good because we have 5 supply. And does it actually roll it now? It does. Oh my gosh. We get a miss. So she's waylaid by a significant threat. That is unbelievable, guys. Plus 5, and we get a complete miss. So we have to pay the price, and we get an obstacle. I have no idea what this is. So let me think about it. All right, well, let's just roll. Let's roll descriptor focus and see what the obstacle is, if it gives me any ideas. A mysterious anomaly. I don't know. Let's try action and theme. Like, I'm drawing a complete blank here. Look at this. All the zeros this thing keeps rolling. Effect advantage. That's not giving me any ideas either. All right, let me pause it here. All right, so here's what I think I'm going to do. We have the classrooms, the market, the exosuit bay, the containment unit, and the command center, right? There's 5 things. So let's roll 1d5, starting from the left and going right. Which zone does it end up in? The second one. So this is going to be when she's at the containment unit. All right, well, I mean, I think the most obvious, so let's retcon. I think the most obvious thing is Wrecker broke out. The most obvious thing to me is when she gets back here, she's looking in the unit, and he's somehow picked the lock and gotten out of his bonds. She didn't tie him tight enough, and he's not in there. And when she turns around, he is going to try to hit her over the head. We're going to get into another battle. If we can win this fight, I guess. Now, Wrecker's been hurt, so this battle is going to be... so let's complete this. This battle is going to be against... this is Krista versus Wrecker. Wrecker is hurt, so he's only going to be troublesome. He doesn't have any weapons on him either. So this is going to be just him. Like, he picked up some piece, like he's got a piece of the fossil. He's going to try to hit her in the head with it, but all he's got is that as a weapon. And so it's her against him, and it's troublesome. So we're going to enter the fray, and so she looks inside, and he's not there, and she's like, what the bleep? And then enter the fray, and it's plus wits because it's caught in a trap, right? And we get a strong hit. So we get 2 momentum. That's good, and she's in control. So she sees his shadow on the emergency light, the lights that the emergency lights are casting. She sees his shadow just as he's about to hit her, and she dives out of the way, and he breaks the fossil against the containment unit. So against the chamber that he had been in, against the door. And so now he's weaponless, and he's just fighting barehanded. Krista rolls out of the way, and she's going to bring up her gun, and should this be a combat, or should she just threaten him? I mean, I think at this point she's had enough of these guys, and even though she's not like a murderer, but if they're going to attack her like this, I think she's just going to shoot at him. So she puts a new clip in her gun, and bang, takes a shot. Strike. Plus edge. We get a weak hit. So we mark progress twice. So she fires at him. So what happens is, let's retcon that a little bit. She fires at him and hits. She goes to fire second shot, click, darn, and she's got to reload, right? And while she's reloading, he is going to barrel toward her and try to tackle her. And she is going to react under fire. And she is going to try to dive out of the way. Now, let's put him back on the map here. And so she's going to try to dive out of the way as he comes at her, right? And she's trying to dive away from him. So reacting under fire with edge. And we get a miss. I don't think I want to waste burning momentum on a weak hit here. I'd rather just take the hit. So he tackles her, and now she is caught. Um, let's think about, in terms of paying the price, let me look at what that would lead to. Okay, I think the two of them are now, he's got her, he tackles her, and he grabs her wrist, and now he and she, the two of them are like struggling over the gun, right? So he's like on top of her, he's got her wrist, he's trying to pull the gun, she's got both of her hands on the gun, trying to keep it away from him, and now she's reacting to that. And I think that's reacting under fire again. But I think in this case, I think she's this is going to be iron, right? Because she's not really dodging, right? She's using force. So she's reacting under fire with, unfortunately, iron, which is not her best stat. And we get a weak hit. So she overcomes, so she gets her gun out of his grasp and she pulls away from him, but she loses a little bit of momentum, right? So she climbs away from him, and now she's going to, she's still in a bad spot, but she's going to fire at him. So she pulls away, and he's coming back out. He gets up, and he turns to come back after her, and she's going to fire at him with edge. And we get a weak hit. We mark progress, but we stay in a bad spot, and we have to pay the price. So she fires at him and hits him, but he's going to tackle her again, and she's down on the ground again. And I think this time he's going to hit her. He's going to like punch her, right? So she takes a harm, and she's going to endure harm. And we get a strong hit. So he tries to punch her, but she dodges out of the way, and he bangs his already wounded hand against the ground anyway. And now she's going to try to get away from him. So this is dodging, right? So she tries to wriggle out from under him and get out of the way. So this is edge. And we get a strong hit, and she takes control. And now that we're in control, we're going to roll progress. She's going to just fire at him and try to finish him off. She's had enough. And we get a strong hit. And so that is it. He has been killed. So she's killed all three of them now. And with a strong hit on decisive action, we take +1 momentum. And that's the end of the fight. So she's defeated him. And now she can, according to the move, she can get back to the containment, get back to her ship, get her environmental suit, and come back to deal with mainframe. So Krista's got her environmental suit. She comes back here. Is mainframe still conscious when she gets back here? I don't know the answer to that. Let's say it's 50-50. Is he still conscious? Yes. So he's still conscious, and she comes back with the environmental suit. And I have an idea. So Krista comes up to him and she says, "Mainframe, are you still awake?" And he says, "Yeah." She says, "Just wait here." And she gets the gurney and she wheels it in, and she helps him onto the gurney. And she says, "I'm going to bring you to the stinger ship of the raiders." And he widens his eyes and says, "Why?" And she says, "I've got an idea." And so what she's going to do is she's going to wheel him to the stinger ship, and which is docked over here. And again, we're not really delving this place, so I'm probably going to have to do something like face danger. But her plan is going to be to put him on the raider ship, fly it to her ship, and dock it in the shuttle port, because she doesn't have a shuttle. And then she's going to fly it somewhere to get him medical help, right? Maybe to Brink, and try to get him medical help. So this is going to require a bunch of moves, and we're going to have to do that in the next episode. So I think we're going to do something like, I guess we're going to have to do something like set a course, again, to get through back to the docking section. Maybe not, because she has to find... I think so. I think, yeah, we'll set a course. We get back to the docking section. She'll just, we'll just assume the raider ship is the next the next section over. I feel like at this point we need to zoom out in the narrative and not cover every single move. Is she going to be able to get him back to the ship? Is she going to be able to maybe that's face danger, I don't know, get the raider ship docked with her ship, and then we'll head back to one of the colonies. And so she's defeated this thing. So let's take this off. And we still don't know where. We still don't know where the raider base is because she hasn't asked him yet. And I think it's unreasonable for her to ask him until she cures him. So that will happen, I guess, in the next episode. So we had a lot of combat, a few surprises. A couple things didn't go the way we expected, and a couple things did. And I got stuck a couple of times. I do apologize for that. Sometimes the oracles, and my brain just doesn't come up with ideas for the oracles. Happens sometimes. Hopefully you enjoyed, and until next time, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been Starforged Alpha Cluster.